Silas and I have been close since we were kids. Everyone knew he would only marry me. On the day of our engagement party, I was so excited to become his fiancée. But in front of everyone, he broke off the engagement and proposed to the newly returned daughter of the richest man in town. When I asked him why, he sneered, "A maid's daughter like you wants to climb the social ladder." Humiliated, I fell down the stairs and lost my baby. To please Uma, Silas made me search a pond for a necklace on a cold autumn night, even though I had just miscarried. Later, I accidentally discovered that I was the real daughter of the richest man. I kicked Silas out of the company. He trembled and begged, "Violet, it's all my fault. Please don't leave me." I kicked him away. "A mere adopted son? Are you even worthy? 1. Isn't it just an unborn child? Why are you so upset?" Uma sneered at me, her eyes filled with disdain. I had just been told by the doctor that I had lost the baby. As I gently stroked my flat stomach, tears streamed down my face. Silas stood beside her in silence, his gaze filled with contempt. My heart sank. He had once promised me, "Violet, I will marry you and give you a happy family." I bit my lip and asked, "Silas, is this really how you feel? All these years we've grown up together. How much does our friendship mean to you?" He scoffed, "Violet, you should face reality. Uma and I are a perfect match. But who are you?" A sharp pain shot through my abdomen. Apparently, in his eyes, I had never been good enough for him. I asked him bitterly, "Then why did you get engaged to me in the first place?" Uma laughed coldly, "Violet, don't dream. Tonight's engagement party was planned for me. Did you really think Silas sincerely wanted to marry you?" Silas looked at her with a smile in his eyes, but when he turned to me, there was only annoyance. All these years of care were just because I had provided him with free services. That's right, as the daughter of a wealthy family, Uma was destined to take over the entire Percy company, while I was just the daughter of a maid. So many years of friendship couldn't outweigh a single consideration of profit. I smiled bitterly, filled with disappointment. "Silas, I really misread you." Silas responded indifferently, "It's a good thing you lost the baby this time anyway. A child born into a lowly family like yours wouldn't have a good life." It felt like my chest had been hammered repeatedly, and I had to take several deep breaths to calm myself down. When I grew up in the orphanage, every time Silas couldn't finish his food, he would be bullied. It was always me who secretly shared my little bit of fried rice with him. Every night when I thought of my parents, he would gently pat my back and comfort me until I fell asleep. Until the age of 8, he was adopted by the Percy family, and from then on I became one of the servants in their house. The first time I met Mrs. Wren, she was clearly stunned for a moment. Then, because she thought I was born to a low-level maid, she restricted the development of the relationship between Silas and me. But he had always been kind to me, and he often promised to marry me formally when he grew up. But on that fateful night, Uma, who had just returned from abroad, appeared. She instantly pushed me aside and got down on one knee to propose to the woman, and holding her hand, she mocked, "I was just playing with her. I didn't expect her to take herself so seriously." Faced with the mocking glances of everyone, I could only press my injured abdomen tightly and cry out for help as I fell down the stairs. However, at this moment, he ignored my pain and turned to put the ring symbolizing eternal promise on the bride. In the end, it was my foster mother who called an ambulance to send me, covered in blood, to the hospital for treatment. Before leaving, Silas left a warning. "Violet, I've been too lenient with you in the past, which has led to this situation. Now that Uma is back, everything has to be done according to the rules. Remember your current position." Silas's tone was full of threatening implications, as if he was afraid that any small mistake would damage the good image he had established in the eyes of the noblewoman. Looking at the two of them embracing and leaving, the last trace of hope I had left for the old friendship was completely shattered. This long-term emotional experience finally proved one fact. This man's heart had long been corrupted. So okay, there will be no more lingering affection. 2. The next day, as I returned to the Percy residence from the hospital, a delicate jasmine fragrance filled the air. I remembered Uma's mother mentioning that this was Uma's favorite flower. I had never met Uma before yesterday's engagement party. She had the same oval face as my foster mother, along with crescent-shaped eyes and a cold demeanor. She merely glanced at me and said, "Don't wear these cheap street clothes in the Percy house ever again. It's so tacky." She then turned her attention to my hair, saying, "Your hair needs a good styling, it's such a mess." Silas hadn't given me any gifts before the engagement party, and he had just casually tied my hair in a ponytail. At the time, I thought he didn't care about superficial things, but later I realized that the party wasn't for me at all. Thinking back on all my expectations of him during those days was utterly ridiculous. As I was lost in thought, a wedding invitation was suddenly placed in front of me. "Violet, please deliver these invitations to each household according to this list. Yesterday's engagement ceremony was too rushed, and there are more grand celebrations to come." The red paper had Silas and Uma written on it in gold letters. Not long ago, my name was in that place. "Silas, there's no need to be so sarcastic, is it? Doesn't your family have anyone else?" I clenched my fists, trembling with anger. He was taken aback for a moment, then raised an eyebrow and asked, "Oh, have you already forgotten what I told you last night?" He continued, "Your foster mother now works for the Percy family, so you should learn to read the room. With your intelligence, you should understand this." He knew my weaknesses perfectly and dealt with me effortlessly. "Yes, you're quite intelligent. You can't even tell what kind of person you're standing next to." Silas's expression suddenly turned serious. Just then, Uma came down from the stairs and overheard our conversation. "Silas, there's no need to force her. If she doesn't want to do it, I can do it instead." She reached out and took the invitation from my hand. "How can that be? It's not appropriate for the young miss to do something like this. This kind of thing can be left to the servants. I'll take you to pick out some beautiful clothes first." After saying that, Silas placed the things in my hand and pulled Uma towards the stairs. In a moment, I clearly saw a smug expression on her face. At dinner time, everyone was having a great time, especially for the Percy family. This future son-in-law seemed very satisfied and immediately gave Silas's family a company as a gift. The man who had once sworn he would marry no one but me was now smiling ingratiatingly at his new love, helping her with her food, and even lifting her skirt. My heart was so heavy that I couldn't stay here any longer, so I went for a walk alone in the garden behind the villa. The quiet night gave me a little comfort. After an unknown amount of time, I suddenly heard voices from the other end of the garden. Thinking that there was a thief in the house, I quietly approached and found out that it was them kissing. "Why does she always follow you? Do you think she's better than me in some way?" Uma complained in a sweet but slightly coquettish tone, while gently stroking Silas's chest. "Are you kidding? How could she compare to you? Now even a glance at her would make me feel disgusted." Then she suddenly pretended to shout, "Oh no! My necklace fell into the pool." It was quiet all around, and everyone was busy serving other guests. No one paid attention to this side. Silas, dressed in a custom-made suit, was obviously inconvenient to fish it out himself. After looking around for a moment, he finally fixed his gaze on me, who was standing not far away. "Violet, since that's the case, please pick up the necklace that fell into the water." The weather was turning cold in late autumn, and the water in the pond was even colder. Despite being extremely reluctant, I still shook my head and replied, "I'm sorry, I just had a miscarriage and I can't touch cold water." 3. "Violet, is a little injury really worth being so delicate? You're getting more and more unreasonable. I think your foster mother doesn't need to work at the Percy house anymore." Silas's expression changed. I couldn't hold back my anger anymore. "Silas, you're such a jerk. I used to like him, and no matter what he asked me to do, I would obey. Now that we've broken up, he's still threatening me with my foster mother's job. He's such a scum." Suppressing my anger and resentment, I rolled up my pants and jumped into the water. The water in the pond was freezing cold on an autumn night. I searched desperately underwater, my stomach aching and cold sweat dripping down my forehead. After searching for half an hour, I pulled the necklace out of the water and threw it to him. Satisfied? Ignoring Silas's ugly expression, I stumbled back to my room. My hands and feet were numb from the cold, and my head was burning hot. My foster mother changed me into clean clothes and fed me some hot water, and I gradually recovered. Violet, Mr. Silas is not someone we ordinary people can aspire to. Let it go, she said. I didn't answer. I had already given up on him in my heart. After my foster mother left, I made a phone call. Dr. Rogan, I want to make an appointment for a paternity test. When I saw Uma's birthday on the invitation, I was a little surprised. It turned out that she and I were born on the same day. I originally thought it was a coincidence, but when I was hospitalized, the doctor told me that my blood type was B, but my biological parents were both type A. After my parents died in a car accident, all I had left of them were those 2 identity documents and my birth certificate. I had suspected my own origins, but there was insufficient evidence, so I didn't pursue it further. After hanging up the phone, I took some fever-reducing medicine and rested in my room. Uma walked in without knocking. She looked around the whole room and finally fixed her gaze on me. Violet, do you like to seduce other people's fiancés? She said, feeling dizzy. I was too lazy to argue with her. If you're afraid of your fiancé being stolen, then control him and don't let him bother me anymore. Pretending to be innocent? You eavesdropped on our conversation in the backyard tonight, didn't you? You just wanted Silas to notice you. Uma yelled, looking as if she knew everything. You two just chattered nonsense in the garden. What does it have to do with me? I said. Bang! The door was suddenly kicked open, and Silas rushed in angrily, pointing at me. Violet, Uma was just reminding you, why are you so angry? You're so rude. Hearing this, Uma immediately put on a wronged look. If you don't welcome me, I'll just leave. Silas stopped her. Uma, it's okay, don't be afraid, I won't let her hurt you. Then he turned to me. Violet, you have no right to drive Uma away here. If you hadn't been so clingy, would I have looked at you? His eyes were fierce, trying to shirk responsibility. Slap. Hearing his nonsense, I finally couldn't bear it anymore and slapped him. You don't even take a breath when you lie. Who is it that always bothers me? You're more disgusting than a fly. I'm moving out, so you two can enjoy your world together. Silas stood still, covering his face. I had rarely argued with him or even hit him before, but it was different now. Even touching him felt dirty. I pushed both of them out of the room, put on earplugs, and slept until dawn. 4. The next day, Uma visited Silas's new company. As his assistant, I was helping him prepare materials for a meeting. Before our breakup, Silas had specifically transferred me to the position of assistant so that we could see each other more often. Now everything had changed, and this position had become nothing but awkward for me. When Uma saw me standing behind Silas, she frowned and looked unwell. The atmosphere was very depressing throughout the meeting. After the meeting, I received a call from the hospital. Miss Violet, your paternity test results are out. I know. I'll pick them up this afternoon. As soon as I turned around, Uma blocked the stairs. Violet, how long are you going to be so shameless? Silas has already dumped you. Why are you still clinging to him? I said impatiently, isn't an assistant supposed to stand next to the boss? Please don't interfere with my work. I walked around her. Unexpectedly, Uma grabbed my clothes, and because she pulled too hard, she fell down the stairs, and I stumbled too. Uma had a lot of blood on her head, and I immediately called 120. When Silas arrived at the scene, Uma had already fainted. He picked her up and put her in the ambulance. Before leaving, he said viciously, if anything happens to Uma, you'll pay for it with your life. I knew Silas's character very well. Once he was convinced of something, no one could explain it to him. Now he was convinced that I had caused this. After calming down, I immediately contacted the property management. Fortunately, there were surveillance cameras installed in this section of the corridor, so I quickly copied a copy of the video and called the police. When I arrived at the hospital, I found Silas and the Percy family parents anxiously waiting outside the operating room. Seeing me, Silas rushed over and grabbed my collar, threatening, if anything happens to Uma, you'll pay her with your life. I didn't show any panic at his accusation. She fell down herself. Why should I be punished? Just as Silas was about to say something else, the doctors pushed Uma out of the operating room with her head wrapped in bandages. Seeing this, Silas let go of me and rushed to the bedside to take care of her. Seeing me, the originally weak Uma immediately became agitated. I know you resent me for having a close relationship with Silas and getting engaged, but if you had talked to him properly, maybe he would have chosen you. Why would you harm me like this? Her words made everyone around me look at me with questioning eyes. Even Uma's usually kind mother couldn't help but scold me angrily. I've warned Silas not to associate with you, but you still did something like this to hurt our daughter. It's a heinous crime. Then Silas rushed forward and slapped me. Violet, listen carefully, my heart belongs only to Uma. If you dare to hurt her again, I will never let you go. The loud slap made my cheek instantly swell. Although my body was uncomfortable, I still endured the pain and shouted loudly to stop him. Stop. I've called the police. It's very clear whether you really pushed her as you said. Then I warned them both. If you dare to touch me again, just wait for the court summons. Hearing this, Uma's expression flashed a brief moment of panic, but quickly returned to normal and continued to cry pitifully. Mom and Dad, I'm really scared. Uma's mother comforted her sad daughter, while Silas's father angrily questioned me to leave. From the time I watched you grow up until now, you've actually done something like this. Since that's the case, Silas, you should immediately cut off all work relations with her. And even the aunt who adopted her can't stay in the house to work. A cold voice came from Silas. Violet, don't come to work here tomorrow. In addition, you must personally bear all the costs of Uma's treatment. To this I laughed. Do you think you can decide everything? Then I sarcastically said, why should a mere servant's child be so bossy? Why don't you just disappear? Finally, I took out the document in my hand and threw it in front of everyone, laughing coldly and declaring, actually, the ones who really need to leave here are the two of you. After scientific verification, it can be confirmed that I am the real eldest daughter of the Percy family. 5. Silas was stunned, and Uncle Percy and Aunt Wren stopped what they were doing. The ward fell silent, the atmosphere becoming extremely awkward. Uma was the first to react, looking at me with a mixture of amusement and anger. Violet, even if you're jealous of my position, there's no need to say such ridiculous things. You should go see a doctor. I smiled and looked down at her. If you don't believe me, we can do another test right now. Seeing that I wasn't joking, Uncle Percy and Aunt Wren took the paternity test report, glanced at it, and Aunt Wren almost fainted, while Uncle Percy collapsed into the chair in shock. Uma and Silas quickly picked up the report, and upon seeing, Uma is not the biological daughter of the tested subject, and the test results show that Percy is Violet's biological father. Uma fainted on the spot. Silas quickly stepped forward and pinched her philtrum, and Uma finally woke up. She regained her composure and pointed at me, shouting, "You villain! How could you be the daughter of the Percy family? This must be fake. You must be lying to me." I smiled and replied to her, "You say I'm lying to you, but have you ever wondered why your blood type is different from your parents? Why they have light tastes and you like heavy flavors? Why you don't look like your father or your mother?" A series of questions left Uma speechless. I continued to say to Aunt Wren, "You must have these doubts in your heart too. Otherwise you wouldn't have noticed some similarities between me and you at first glance." Unfortunately, because the Percy family loved their daughter too much, even if they had some doubts, they were covered up by their deep affection, and they had wasted so many years. Silas was stunned for a moment before saying, "So that means you are the real daughter of Uncle Percy and Aunt Wren, then Uma's parents?" "They passed away," I said calmly, "but now you can have a nanny as a foster mother." Uma's eyes widened, and she screamed hysterically, "Even if you are the biological daughter, what does it matter? 20 years of affection won't disappear because of a piece of paper. Mom and Dad love me, they won't recognize you. It doesn't matter if they acknowledge it or not." I took out Grandpa Oscar's will and placed it in front of them, because I am the only legitimate heir to the Percy family. Grandpa Oscar's will left all his property to his granddaughter, and this document had been made public within the family and notarized. At this moment, the sound of a police siren could be heard outside the hospital. I said to Uncle Percy and Aunt Wren, I didn't grow up with you, so it's natural that we don't have a deep relationship. But if you don't do anything excessive, I will be responsible for your lives." Then I turned to Uma and Silas. "Starting tomorrow, you're fired, Silas. As for Uma, you can choose to stay as a maid or get out of the Percy family. It's up to you." After saying that, I left the hospital and gave the surveillance video to the police. I didn't care about the rest. However, I would never let Silas off easily. 6. Back at the company, I posted the news of Silas's dismissal on the internal network and then went to the finance department to check the financial situation he had managed over the past 2 years. Afterwards, I hired 2 high-salary experts from abroad to take over various company affairs and report the progress to me regularly. As soon as I stepped out of the company gate, I saw a familiar figure. Silas quickly walked forward and blocked me. "Violet, I've contributed so much to the company. How can you fire me? I'm the boss of the company. Do I need to explain every decision I make to every employee?" I walked around Silas, but he suddenly stopped me. "Violet, how can you be so cruel? Don't you consider our many years of friendship?" I impatiently broke free from his hand, full of contempt. "When you abandoned me and chose to propose to Uma, did you ever think about the word friendship? How could you not feel cruel when you made me, with a body that had just lost a child, fish for a necklace in the icy river? Now you mention it, don't you think it's quite laughable?" After saying that, I wanted to leave. I felt uncomfortable staying even a moment longer. "Violet, listen to me. It's all for your own good." I stopped and turned to look at him, my tone full of sarcasm. "Oh, then tell me, how did it become for my own good?" Silas said awkwardly, "Violet, I know that although I was adopted by the Percy family, I never had real power. I wanted to get closer to Uma to gain more resources to improve our lives." Hearing this excuse made me sick to my stomach. Once a person gets used to lying, lies become their nature. This set of excuses might work on Uma, but on me? Don't forget that we've been friends for many years. I can see through your little tricks. At this moment, I realized how ugly the real face hidden behind this person was. He cared about nothing but his own personal interests. When I was young in the orphanage, he was grateful to me because I would share my food with him. When I grew up, Silas got used to enjoying my care and got engaged to me. Until Uma returned home, he abandoned me and my unborn child without hesitation, just to climb a higher ladder. Now he's trying to regain his lost opportunity by playing the victim. In fact, no one is really what he cares about. He only cares about himself. I took out the recorder hidden in my pocket. Maybe Uma will be happy to hear this. I turned and got into the car and drove away. Seeing the car disappear from sight, Silas's face changed dramatically. He ran and shouted something, but as soon as I closed the car window, the outside sound was instantly cut off. As soon as I stepped into the Percy family's hall, I met Uma, who was coming towards me with a bandage wrapped around her head and looking very angry. "Violet, what did the two of you say?" Silas not only offered to resign, but also cut off contact with me. "It's all your fault." I dodged to the side and looked at her coldly. "Since your fiancé doesn't want you anymore, what does it have to do with me? But there's something you should hear." As Uma looked at me in confusion, I turned on the recording device in my hand. 7. "Violet, listen to me. Everything I did was for your own good. Violet, although I was adopted by the Percy family, I never had any real power in the family. I did this just to get some resources from Uma, hoping to give you a better life. Uma is so arrogant. If it weren't for the fact that she is the heir to the Percy family, I would have broken off relations with her a long time ago. I still love you, Violet." Uma's face gradually turned ugly, first surprised, then shocked, then heartbroken, and finally filled with rage. She suddenly screamed loudly, snatched the recorder, and threw it on the ground and stomped on it several times. Then she looked up at me, her hair disheveled like a ghost, her voice sharp and piercing. "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, I would still be my parents' most beloved daughter, and Silas would still marry me. You ruined my happy life." She cried hysterically, grabbed a sword from the display cabinet in the living room, and lunged at me. Silas suddenly ran in from outside. kicked the sword out of Uma's hand, and pulled me behind him. Uma, stop it, or you'll go to jail if something happens. Uma looked at him with a wounded expression, her eyes filled with tears. Silas, my parents are so good to you, and you're breaking off your engagement with me for her. And now you're even attacking me to protect her. Do you have any conscience? The impatience in Silas's eyes was obvious. If they really treated you well, they wouldn't just give me some insignificant tasks and prevent me from realizing my full potential. Uma, I've had enough of you. You let everyone serve you. Don't you have hands and feet? Now that you're no longer a young lady, see who else will want to care about you? Hearing the noise, Uma's parents hurried downstairs to check the situation. Uma threw herself into her mother's arms and cried loudly. And after a while, she raised her tearful eyes and begged, Mom and Dad, please don't abandon me. I have nowhere else to go. Uma's mother looked at her lovingly and turned to me and pleaded. Uma has had everything she wants since she was a child, and she has grown up in the Percy family. How can she live if she leaves here? Your father and I can't bear to see her suffer. So just find her a comfortable position in the company. I beg you, Violet. My heart trembled involuntarily. Although I didn't have a deep relationship with Uma's mother, I could only agree when an old woman lowered her dignity and begged me like this. After thinking for a while, I said, I'll arrange a suitable position for her in the company. I'm a little tired now, so I'll go upstairs to rest. Silas wanted to follow me, and I glared at him and said, Silas, we'll settle our accounts later, don't bother me now. After hearing Uma's cry, Uma's parents were so angry that they picked up their cane and kicked Silas out, announcing that they were breaking off relations with him. Silas had already been dissatisfied with the Percy family, so he simply chose to cut ties completely. But he turned his target to me and often waited for me downstairs of the company, which made me very annoyed, so I told the security guard not to let him in. When he couldn't see me, Silas started calling and texting me constantly, repeating the past. Violet, do you remember when you used to share half of your fried rice with me when we were kids? I swore at that time that I would treat you well for the rest of my life. I shouldn't have been blinded by greed, but I really realize I was wrong. Please forgive me, at least meet me once. I really don't want to leave you. I replied casually, Okay, at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I'll be waiting for you at the cafe downstairs from the company. The other side replied quickly, and I just sneered and turned off the phone screen. Silas, your retribution is yet to come. 8. Silas came to me with a large bouquet of champagne roses in his hand. He knelt on one knee, held the flowers in front of me, and said happily, Violet, I knew you would forgive me. I've missed you so much these past few days. Put them down first, I interrupted him. I picked up my coffee and took a sip. Actually, I'm here today to talk to you about something serious. Violet, just say it, I'll listen to you. I'll work hard in the future and try to double the company's income next year. Look, when can I return to my position? He rubbed his hands together, his eyes full of anticipation. I sneered, Don't worry about that. I have something else to talk to you about. I took a file from my bag and put it in front of him. You've been working in the company for so many years, and you've taken advantage of your position to gain a lot of benefits. You've also fabricated false accidents to defraud insurance claims and embezzled company assets. Did you pocket all those holes in the year-end accounts? As I spoke, I tapped the table lightly with my fingers, and Silas's face turned pale. The evidence is conclusive. Are you going to turn yourself into the police? Or are you waiting for me to call the police? Silas looked at me incredulously. Violet, how could you be like this? We've been together for so long. Don't you really have any feelings for me? I chuckled. You don't have the right to talk to me about these feelings now. Have you forgotten how you hurt me? If you confess voluntarily, maybe you can get a lighter sentence. But if you wait for the police to arrest you, it won't be so simple. Silas leaned forward, his eyes fierce. Do you think you can solve the problem by threatening me like this? Don't forget that there are still many people in the company who are on my side. I pretended to be surprised. I almost forgot about that. But they've all been fired. And a lot of the clues about you were collected from them. Seeing Silas stunned, I smiled. I'll give you 3 days. Don't make me do this myself. Just as I was about to leave, Silas suddenly knelt down and grabbed the hem of my clothes. "Violet, I know I was wrong. Please help me. I don't want to go to jail. We used to love each other so much. Can't you bear to see me go to prison?" His shoulders trembled from sobbing. "Violet, it's all because I was blinded by greed for a moment. As long as you can forgive me this once, I'm willing to do anything. Shall we get married right away? I will definitely be good to you in the future." I had no mercy and kicked him away. "Are you even worthy of being my husband? You're just an adopted son with no status." I left the shop, leaving Silas crying. After returning home, I packed my bags and decided to move out. Every corner of the Percy house was filled with memories of Silas, and I didn't want to touch those sad memories anymore. So I decided to start a new life in a new environment. Uma's parents didn't stop my choice. They just reminded me to take care of myself. Although we had known each other for many years, our relationship had always been that of master and servant, and we were not very close. I bought 2 big houses next to the company, one for myself and the other for my hardworking foster mother, so that she could enjoy her old age in peace. I gave Uma a relatively easy job in the company, but after she recovered, she never returned. I guess it was difficult for her to accept the change from being a prospective successor to an ordinary employee, not to mention how harsh the gossip from her colleagues was. However, this was the result of her own fault. Compared to what she had done to me in the past, this was already considered lenient treatment. In the evening, my mother had prepared a sumptuous dinner and was waiting for me at home. Just then, I received a frantic call from Uma's mother. "Oh no, Violet, Uma is missing." 9. She's been in a very low mood these past few days, and your father and I haven't dared to disturb her. The nanny went to deliver her meals today, but there was no one in the room, and she hasn't been to work all day. Can you guess where she could have gone at this late hour? Don't worry, she might have gone out for something urgent. I've already notified the police, and there are surveillance cameras everywhere on the road, so she should be safe. After reassuring Uma's mother, I called Silas and asked him if Uma had looked for him. "Don't worry, Violet, I won't meet her again. Even if she comes to find me, I'll send her away. Have you forgiven me, Violet? I really know I was wrong." I hung up impatiently. It seemed that Uma hadn't gone to see him. After thinking for a while, I decided to go upstairs and greet my foster mother before looking for her. Although I was very dissatisfied with Uma, I had to give Uma's mother some face. There was a maintenance sign in front of the elevator, so I had to go up the stairs. However, the motion sensor lights in the corridor seemed to be broken, and the whole area was pitch black. I turned on the flashlight on my phone to illuminate the way forward, and suddenly a terrifying face appeared in front of me, scaring me so much that I sat down on the ground. The woman's hair was disheveled and draped over her shoulders, but her clothes were clean. Only in the flashlight did I see her clearly. It was Uma. "Violet, you liar. You stole my identity and made me the laughingstock of so many people. Why can you turn from an ugly duckling into a swan? And as long as you're gone, Silas will come back to me, and I'll still be my parents' only child. I'm going to kill you." Saying that, she pulled out a fruit knife from behind her and lunged at me. Reacting quickly, I got up and ran towards the door, shouting for help. Unfortunately, I tripped over a stone and fell. Uma lunged at me fiercely with the knife. Just as I was about to get hurt, the neighborhood security guard arrived and quickly subdued Uma with a riot fork. She screamed and struggled wildly, and liquid flowed from under her skirt. The police arrived at the scene, and because Uma showed severe psychological problems, they had to send her to a mental hospital for observation and treatment. When Uma's parents arrived, I had just signed all the documents. Seeing Uma wearing a hospital gown and being treated with medication every day, Uma's mother was heartbroken. Although I promised to ask the hospital to pay more attention to her condition, it only slightly eased her mood. As for myself, seeing Uma now lying in bed, constantly fiddling with her hands and her eyes vacant, I didn't feel anything. Such a proud girl had to spend the rest of her life in this place, losing all her dignity. Perhaps this was the best punishment for her. A few days later, as planned, I reported the case, and Silas was soon arrested. The court eventually found him guilty of economic crimes and sentenced him to life imprisonment. He sent me several letters from prison asking me to meet him, but my foster mother burned them all. Our Violet is the best and most outstanding girl. There are many beautiful things waiting for you to appreciate in the future. Don't waste your time on someone who is not worth it. Hearing these words, I hugged my foster mother with a smile. The following autumn, I took my foster mother on a vacation abroad. When she saw new and interesting things in a foreign land, she would be as excited as a little girl. I patiently accompanied her and took her to see the mountains and the beauty overseas, just as she had done for me when I was a child. Soon, I received a message from the company saying that the revenue had increased significantly this quarter, thanks to the introduction of some advanced foreign production technologies. So I immediately decided to give all the management staff a very generous year-end bonus. During this time, Silas continued to try to contact me through letters, but all of them were simply disposed of, and eventually he stopped. As for Uma, her condition improved slightly, and she no longer had violent behavior. Most of the time, she would sit quietly, often holding a necklace around her neck and stroking it repeatedly. Her parents would visit her frequently and pay the nursing staff a certain amount of money to ensure that she received good care. When I returned to visit the Percy family after this trip, I also brought them some gifts. They took the gifts and looked very happy, saying cautiously, "Violet, can you and your mother come home for dinner together this Chinese New Year? We miss Aunt Xanna very much too." Over the past year, perhaps out of guilt or out of affection, they had become more gentle and considerate towards me. I didn't dwell on the past and agreed to their proposal. Soon the festive atmosphere arrived. That night, the whole family sat around the dinner table enjoying a hot and hearty reunion dinner. Looking at the colorful fireworks display outside the window, I finally felt the long-lost sense of belonging to a family.